Good morning, fourth graders. Let's write the date and our intention, and that is 10/22. Today as a writer, I am working on grading my essay. Today, we are going to use a checklist to grade our essays from yesterday. Here's what it looks like. As a class, we are going to go through it step by step to show you what to do. We are going to look at the overall, lead, transitions, ending, organization, elaboration, craft, spelling, and punctuation. And on the right side, it says not yet, starting to, or yes. You're going to check in these boxes what we have accomplished in our essays. The first thing on our checklist is overall. The structure is I made a claim about a topic or a text and tried to support my reasons. For this part, we need to read the whole story. This is from a student in the past. Television shouldn't be overwatched. My strong opinion is that kids shouldn't watch too much television. Other people shouldn't too. I believe this is true because then you will have more time to study for a good education. Also, some shows on television are bad for kids to watch. Another reason this is true is that if you watch too much television, you will get bad eyesight. The first reason I will explain is that you will have more time to read and study if you're not always watching television. Then, you are more likely to do well on tests and get a good education. Education is important because if you do well in school, you will be able to get a good job, and then you'll be able to buy a house and feed so you don't starve. Education is important, and so is not watching too much television. An additional reason my opinion is true is that some shows on television are bad for kids to watch. Younger children might be scared of some shows. This is bad because then stuff that reminds them of the scary shows might make them cry. Also, some shows weren't made for children to watch, but they may not know that and watch it anyways. The last reason I will tell you about why people shouldn't watch too much television is that then you might develop bad eyesight. I have learned before that staring at things like computer screens or televisions for a while can damage your eyes. You need your eyes to see other cars on the street and traffic lights. If you couldn't see those, you might get in an accident. Also, you need good eyesight to read important information like what to do if there is a fire in the building. If you don't know that information, you could get. Even though I agree that television can be very entertaining and fun, so much of it can be very bad. I'm sure you now agree that this is true. So if you want a good education, a healthy mind, and good eyesight, I would advise you to make sure that you're not always sitting on the couch with your eyes glued to a television screen. As we look back at our checklist, did I make a claim about a topic or a text and tried to support my reasons? Turn and talk with your partner. After you decided if not yet, starting to, or yes, you will then have to check one of those boxes. Next on the list is the lead. I wrote a few sentences to hook my readers, perhaps by asking a question, explaining why the topic mattered, telling a surprising fact, or giving background information. I stated my claim, so we're going to read just the beginning, which probably is the first paragraph. Going to reread just the first paragraph. My strong opinion is that kids shouldn't watch too much television. Other people shouldn't too. I believe this is true because then you will have more time to study for a good education. Also, some shows on television are bad for kids to watch. Another reason this is true is that if you watch too much television, you will get bad eyesight. Going to look back at the lead, Did I write a few sentences to hook my readers, perhaps by asking a question, explaining why the topic mattered, telling a surprising fact, or giving background information? Did I state my claim? Turn and talk with your partner. I would then look at the boxes and check either not yet, starting to, or yes. The next part on the checklist is transitions. I used words and phrases to glue parts of my piece together. I used phrases such as, for example, another example, one time, and for instance to show when I was shifting from saying reasons to giving evidence and in addition to, also, and another to show when I wanted to make a new point. Take a moment to see if you can find some transition words in this story here. Go ahead and talk with your partner to see if you find any and decide what I should check, not yet, starting to, or yes. Now I'm looking at the ending. I wrote an ending for my piece in which I restated and reflected on my claim, perhaps suggesting an action or response based on what I had written. We're going to take just the ending part, which would be the conclusion paragraph, and reread that to see if I have what I need. Even though I agree that television can be very entertaining and fun, so much of it can be very bad. I'm sure you now agree that this is true. So, if you want a good education, a healthy mind, and good eyesight, I would advise you to make sure that you're not always sitting on the couch with your eyes glued to a television screen. Did I restate and reflect on my claim? Did I suggest an action or response based on what I have written? Turn and talk with your partner and decide what I should check in my box. The next part is organization. I separated sections of information using paragraphs. Take a look at the story and see if I have different sections of information in my paragraphs. Turn and talk with your partner and try to figure out what paragraphs have what to see if you can prove that I separated sections. Going through the rest of the checklist, after organization, we have elaboration. I gave reasons to support my opinion. I chose the reason to convince my readers. I included examples and information to support my reasons, perhaps from a text, my knowledge, or my life. Again, I'm going to be reading my whole essay to grade the elaboration part. After elaboration, I'm going to look at the craft. I made deliberate word choices to convince my readers, perhaps by emphasizing or repeating words that would make my readers feel emotions. If it felt right to do so, I chose precise details and facts to help make my points and use figurative language to draw the readers into my line of thought. I made choices about which evidence was best to include or not include to support my points. I used a convincing tone. Now, as we look at the not yet, starting to, or yes, to have a yes, I would need to have all of these in my essay. After craft, we're looking at spelling and punctuation. This is a part where we're going to have to take slow to read our essays that we wrote, so we actually can check to see if we have things that were misspelt. If we have things that are misspelt, we would normally circle. So for spelling, I used what I know about word families and spelling rules to help me spell and edit. I used the word wall and dictionaries to help me when needed. So if you don't think you have a word right, you are going to circle that. Punctuation. When writing long, complex sentences, I use commas to make them clear and correct. I use periods to fix my run-on sentences. We've been starting grammar lessons, so you should know when to use commas and periods and exclamation points and so on. So make sure as you go through every step, you're reading your whole essay. Lead, you're just reading the beginning. Transitions, you are reading the whole thing again to find transitions. It might help you if you want to underline with a pen. Endings, you're just reading that last conclusion paragraph. Organization, you're reading your whole essay. Elaboration, you're reading your whole essay. Same with craft, spelling, and punctuation. During this time, you're going to be rereading your essay 7 times, and 2 of the times you're going to be rereading it slowly. So make sure you are taking your time and checking the correct box for your checklist. If there are no questions, we are going to get started. Let's have a great day for writing today.